welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a walnut pie. Gosh, it's an absolute favourite of mine. It's delicious and I'm sure that your friends and family will love it as well. First of all, before we start, we really need a sweet short crust pastry shell, and I have a video on that, and I will put the link of that in the description box below this video so that you can click on that and make that first of all. Okay, so let's go into the kitchen and make the walnut pie. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my recipe for walnut pie. If you haven't already seen my video on the pastry case, I'll put a link to it in the description box below, so please do check that out. But we've actually made a pastry case, and we have cooked it for 10 minutes so that it's all ready to fill. It's not completely cooked yet because, of course, the filling for the walnut pie has to be cooked. Okay, so let's get started on the walnut filling. So first of all we need 3 eggs, and I'm just doing this in a jug because we're going to have to pour this into the pastry case, so it's easier for me to do that. And I also like to top it up when, you know, the pie is already in the oven as well, so that's quite handy to have it in a jug. And now I'm just going to mix that up. It doesn't have to be over mixed or anything, just a little bit of a whisk just to get the eggs mixed up. And then really it's a simple recipe. It's just a matter of putting everything in and then putting it in the pre-prepared pie case and baking it for, 20 minutes or something, and then it will be delicious. Okay, so that's the eggs. The next thing I'm putting in is 1/4 cup of golden syrup. Quite difficult to measure out golden syrup, so I just do a couple of tablespoons. I think that's kind of 1/4 cup. I don't know, I could be wrong, but it has worked for me in the past, so that's what I do. The next thing we need is a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and really that's a couple of tablespoons, but we'll measure this one out. I like to pack in the brown sugar so that it measures correctly. Just double check the ingredient, the measurement. Okay, about 1/4 cup, so that goes in. The next thing after the brown sugar is the mixed spice. You don't have to add mixed spice if you don't want to. It just adds a little bit of a zing, but look, if you just want to do it without that, that's totally fine as well. 1/2 teaspoon, I'm just going to add 1/4 teaspoon. I don't want too much of it because I do have, I'm just going to do a tiny bit. Actually, 1/8 teaspoon, just a little bit of a sprinkle. Because of course this recipe also has chocolate, and chocolate is lovely. 1/4 cup of water, and mix that around. Ooh, it's looking good already. The next thing we want is 60 grams of butter, and that needs to be melted. So I'm just going to measure that out. Just zeroed in my weighing machine, and about double of that. Ooh, the butter is so soft, it's really hot here today. 60, perfect. We're getting that heat waves from Australia at the moment, so it's lovely and hot. Okay, I'm just going to melt that in the microwave, and I'm going to measure out 100 grams of chocolate. 109 grams, that's fine. And I'm just going to pop those into the butter and just give it a whiz again in the microwave. And get it all melted. Doesn't take much, maybe a minute, less than that. So the next thing is the walnuts, and I've got some really delicious walnuts here. You can use walnut halves or walnut pieces, but I really like to look at them quite closely because, of course, that's just a cup. Of course, they often have bits of shell left in them, and I'm not happy with that. Oh, that didn't take long to melt. So I'm going to be chopping them just roughly, just so that I get an idea of you know, how good they are and whether they've got any shell pieces in them. Oh yep, doesn't look too bad. Can't see much in there. Yep, that looks good. I don't want to chop them too much because I don't want you know, little bits of flour or anything in there. I just want them to be really roughly chopped so that you've got texture, and after all, it's a walnut pie. You want to be able to taste the walnuts. So we're mixing all of that around, just making sure that all of that golden syrup is nicely incorporated, and we're also going to add the melted butter and the melted chocolate. So we'll get that all in there. Oh, that looks great. Just use my rubber spatula to get it all out. And mix that all in nicely. It's quite watery, that's okay. Of course, it will set because of course it's made with eggs. But I just want it to be mixed in a bit so that it's coming to a good consistency. So that's all mixing in nicely now. You can see that it's all incorporated and looking beautiful, rich, chocolatey, just delicious. Okay, now my walnuts are ready to go into the pre-prepared pastry dish. I'm going to just pop them in first. You can add it into the sauce, into the liquid mixture and pour it in, but I want them all to be evenly spaced out, and then I'm going to pour my mixture over the top. Okay, so that's oozing all around the walnuts, and I want to make sure that it just oozes all around the edges and gets right to the corners, and I want to make sure that I'm just going to leave a little bit left over because I want to put that in the oven and then tip the last bit on the top so that it all settles nicely. Okay, so let's open the oven. Put my pastry case in and my pie, and then I'm going to put the rest of the filling on the top. And I can see I've made a little bit of a hole, so I'm just going to move the walnuts around a little bit, just make sure that they all go evenly throughout the pie. Oh, that looks great. Now I have to really be careful to slide it in very slowly. We don't want it sloshing everywhere. So that's the pie in the oven. We're going to let that cook for 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. We'll have a look at it and make sure that the eggs are set nicely, and we'll come back then and have a look at it. Okay, so I checked the pie at 20 minutes, having 20 minutes at 180 degrees. It was still a little bit liquidy in the middle, so I've left it another 5 minutes, and we're going to check to see how it is. Oh, that is looking amazing. Just turn that off. So you can see that it's actually come up really nice. It's actually risen up a little bit, but you can see it's cooked all the way through in the middle because it's got little cracks through. That's absolutely fine. It will sink back down a little bit because you know, egg fillings do that kind of thing. But the smell is amazing. It looks brown, chocolatey, golden, absolutely gorgeous. The crust around the outside has gone real brown and crusty, not too overly coloured. It just looks beautiful, and my gosh, my mouth is watering. I can't wait to taste it. But I'm going to wait. I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit, and then we'll taste it and see how it goes. So we're going to cut the pie now. It's had about an hour to sit, and it's cooled down, so it's looking really good. I've cut a small piece here, and look, it's just held together beautifully. The pastry is lovely, a little bit crispy around the outside, a little bit cakey on the bottom, but cooked through quite beautifully. And the walnut pie filling is just lovely, all set, beautiful. So we're just going to taste it now and see how it tastes. That is beautiful. Gosh, it's just beautiful. The crunchiness of the walnuts, the chocolate in it, of course, and I don't know, the golden syrup gives it that roundness of flavour, and the pastry is just divine. This would be really lovely served with, I don't know, natural yogurt, hokey pokey ice cream, of course, or whipped cream, or even just runny cream. I mean, any kind of topping like that, but gosh, it's not too bad on its own. I quite like it on its own. Right. So thank you so much for coming and joining me to make this walnut pie today. Please give my video a like, and please subscribe to my channel, and there'll be lots of more things that will be coming up soon, so I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.